So you just got off stage, and we were talking about. First of all, awesome job, but
Thank you.
kicked it off, kicked ass. Appreciate it. But you did talk a lot about like the creative profile, where some of us are kind of a little bit more secluded, a little bit more focused on just getting stuff done, and we don't always have like that big voice in the room, and we're not ready to like completely go into the boardroom and talk about art communication. But can you just share one of those stories that you did on stage? Because it was you did many, but just talk about one, because it was pretty dope.
Yeah, I was talking about I've been working with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with like an identity refresh, and one of the things that I tried to do was kind of like try to push the skull from the logo out there and just kind of get a little wild with it. But there was some considerations where it's like you don't want to be confused for the Raiders or something like that, and I tried to show skulls in a different way. So
their logo is like a skull with swords, right?
The Bucks?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of them.
Yeah, it's a skull with swords. I mean, that's the logo.
Yeah. People don't realize that. It's like a pirate.
Right, exactly. Because it's like it's also within a flag, so they have kind of like this double logo thing going on.
Yeah.
So I was trying to simplify it, really pull out like the really fun aspect of it. But like with the Raiders and the way that they are, they like black and white and skulls is very synonymous with their
it's
look.
Kind of owned by the Raiders.
Yeah. But they don't have a skull in their logo, which is a lot of people don't realize there is no skull. Like that's just kind of what people adapted.
It's like what all their fans wear.
I know.
That's interesting.
So I was just like, well, we have a skull. Let's use it.
Let's pimp it out.
Exactly. So I kept pushing, and when like right when they said, you can't push it any further, is when I pushed it even further and turned it into a giant like skull cart. Like when players got to get carted off the field, whatever.
Dude,
but nah,
because wouldn't that mean like you're going to your grave?
Yes. But it would have been fun,
Oh, that's awesome.
It was worth a shot.
But you know what I've noticed though? Sometimes like a buddy of mine, Surf, always says like pitch them what they're not expecting, and then all of a sudden they won't maybe they won't bite on it, but they're taking that into the boardroom and being like, but this was an awesome idea, and then of course they take credit for it.
You always got one or two people too that are just like that will kind of get it. And maybe have your back, like if you're presenting in front of 10 people, there's always going to be like one that's like, I totally love that. So speak to that one and let that one person, be part of your team. And so if you can't do those things, let that person speak for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just. You gotta stumble through that to get there, I think. Because then you're like, oh wow, I just found out the key to winning the team.
Yeah, trial and error, man. You got to keep trying, otherwise you'll never figure it out.
You talked about that, man. So 2 more topics, real quick. You also talked about just being in the room with these designers that talk about sports and branding. And one of the things you said was, well, actually you didn't say it, but I kind of felt it. It's like sport is just like religion. And that's something that I know you like get giddy about it when you're like, dude, I get to design and I get to do stuff for sports teams, which we all love. But talk just a little bit about that, because that's one thing you and I go off on. It's like religion of branding sports and just like the rituals that we go through. Like what is unique about integrating design into that?
I mean, it's amazing. Like when you grow up as a kid and you're playing sports and you're obsessed with kind of like the aspects of a team, you become obsessed with the jerseys and the hats and the gear and everything that kind of comes along with it. And if you're anywhere near an art-leaning type of person, you're gonna naturally connect the two. So being like a sports fanatic, like it's already religion to you.
Yeah.
But then bringing in the art side of it, where it's maybe the part that you don't get to experience on a team or with other people, and then bringing that in, all of a sudden that kind of just taps into a world you didn't realize could have more. Like you never dreamed that it could be more than what it is, but now it is, because you bring in a whole other aspect of your life that you love, and just connecting the two just gives you like this platform to just go wild and just like love everything about everything you've ever loved.
Yeah. That's funny, because when you start doing like apparel design and retail, you're like, no one just goes in and like, give me the one cap. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, if you only have the fitted field one option, sure.
Yeah.
But like at this point, you're talking the brand's different colors, the brand's like different designs. So it's interesting, because you'll have people who maybe wouldn't consider themselves creative, but yet they're critiquing the designs on the shirt. It's like, nah, I wouldn't wear that one.
Right.
Like,
right.
Why not? We're like, well, that design's not me.
Yeah.
So, oh, dude, it's we should like do a book where it's like, hey, here's the religion of sports, and here's like how you obey it. Here's how you get excommunicated from it.
I would also love to see in that book a version of what designers think is a good design and what fans think is a good design, but and like really show how bad fans' designs would be.
Yeah, my favorite idea is like, let's do a fan T-shirt.
Yeah, right.
Let's not. But talking about books though, so your first book just came out.
It's coming out in October.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's getting, but you can't buy it now.
Yeah, you can pre-order it now.
Okay.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, everywhere.
That's awesome, man. It's like a dream project for so many designers. But what was just like, just one thing that you just like, that you were able to get in there, that you're like, even if it's just like your daughter's name, like what was, just doesn't have to be necessarily like, oh, this section is on this. It could just be like, what was the one thing that you're like, you know what, I'm gonna have a little dirty picture in the corner, and that's like for me. Terrible example, but
that's interesting. I don't know. I think the book is kind of based on my inspiration and how it affects my work. So every chapter is kind of based on a different type of inspiration. Like there's a whole chapter on baseball, and just kind of like my obsession with it, how it led into design and stuff like that. So it's nice because I feel like it's given me the opportunity to kind of inject more of my personality into stuff that I maybe don't normally get the opportunity to do, because it's like, you look at my work, you don't hear my work.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to do that, and then definitely having my daughter's name in there was fun.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I have a whole section on family too. So I got to do some background, because I have a very creative family. So I have work from my mom in there, my grandparents, my great uncles. Like there's work from my family that goes back over 100 years.
So you're just like a rich, spoiled kid.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, man. Well, we're supposed to be 3 minutes, and I think we're like at 15.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Anyway, thanks, John. Appreciate it. This is fun, man. We're friends, so that's it, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.